Welcome to Chanel the latest. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky hailed the results of the NATO summit in Vilnius this week, thanking the governments supporting his country after the summit got off to a more tense start when Zelensky initially called NATO's lack of a timeline for Ukraine's membership absurd. Kyiv endured a third consecutive night of airstrikes from Russia, with the city's military administration reporting massive, overnight strikes by Iranian-made Shahed drones in which at least one person was killed. The Kremlin reacted with hostility to the outcome of the NATO summit, calling the Group of 7 countries' pledge of security guarantees for Ukraine a very dangerous mistake, and saying it will respond with all means and methods at our disposal. Russian President Vladimir Putin said during a television address that the new international commitments to supply Ukraine with additional arms and security assistance packages following the NATO summit will only escalate the ongoing conflict. Putin said that in particular, Russian forces will make tanks given to Ukraine for use on the battlefield a priority target, according to a Reuters report. Putin's comments follow a NATO leaders' summit in Lithuania's capital. The Russian leader reiterated the Kremlin's position that Kyiv's ascension to the NATO alliance, which has been ongoing since 2002, will also pose a risk to Russia's security. Russian President Vladimir Putin said Moscow could withdraw from the Black Sea grain deal, saying the agricultural agreement has only benefited Ukraine so far. Moscow maintains that the current agreement does not support Russian fertilizer exports while Ukrainian agricultural products travel through the humanitarian sea corridor freely. Putin, speaking on state television, also said that he had not received a letter from UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres on possible ways to salvage and renew the deal, according to a Reuters report. President Joe Biden said that he doesn't believe that Russian President Vladimir Putin can continue his war in Ukraine for years. I don't think the war can go on for years for 2 reasons. Number 1. I don't think that Russia could maintain the war forever. Number 1 in terms of their resources and capacity, Biden said during a press conference in Finland's capital. Number 2. I think that there is going to be a circumstance where eventually President Putin is gonna decide it's not in the interest of Russia, economically, politically or otherwise, to continue this war, but I can't predict exactly how that happens, Biden added. In the more than 500 days following the Kremlin's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the United States and its allies have issued several rounds of punishing economic measures that have vaulted Russia past North Korea and Iran as the world's most sanctioned country. My hope is, and my expectation is, you'll see that Ukraine makes significant progress on their offensive and that it generates a negotiated settlement, Biden said, without providing additional details. President Joe Biden said his administration was continuing to seek the release of detained U.S. citizens during a press conference in Finland's capital. I'm serious about a prisoner exchange. I'm serious about doing all we can to free Americans being illegally held in Russia or anywhere else for that matter, Biden said when asked specifically about Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich.